let's be honest. Every new manager walks in on the first day, wants to be great. Nobody wakes up thinking, you know what, today I'm going to be a walking nightmare for my team. But the road from being a star employee to a star leader is absolutely littered with traps. The very habits that got you promoted can suddenly be the exact behaviors that tank your team's morale and turn your dream job into a mess for everyone. The pressure is on. The learning curve is a vertical line, and it's shockingly easy to make a few mistakes that can define or derail your entire first year. Hello, everyone. My name is Bedford-Flood, founder of ProSource Staffing, and I have helped leaders and hiring managers find that top talent they didn't know exists for over 28 years. So let's get started. So speaking of those traps, what if you could see those traps from a mile away and just walk around them? In this video, I am breaking down the 5 most common blunders that turn well-meaning managers into the boss everyone complains about at happy hour. I'm not just going to point out what you're doing wrong. For each mistake, I'll get into why it happens, and I'll give you concrete, no-fluff strategies to build a team that not only gets stuff done, but generally respects and trusts you. So if you're ready to swap the new manager anxiety for real confidence and become the leader you've always wanted to be, you're in the right place. First up, the big one, the mistake that has a legendary reputation, becoming the accidental micromanager. You got the promotion because you were awesome at your job. You knew every detail. Your standards were sky high and you delivered. Now you're on the hook for the whole team's output, and that fear that they might drop the ball can be all-consuming. So you dive in. You start telling people exactly how to write that email. You ask to be CC'd on everything, and you find yourself redoing their work late at night just to make sure it's right. This doesn't come from a place of malice. It comes from a deep-seated sense of responsibility and a fear of failure. You think you're ensuring quality, but what your team hears is, I don't trust you to breathe without my permission. Micromanagement is the fastest way to kill motivation and trust. It signals to talented people that their skills and knowledge aren't valued, so they stop trying. Why would they bring their A team if they know you're just going to change it all anyway? You end up with a team that's either checked out or heading for the exit. So how do you fix it? It all starts with a huge mental shift. Your job is no longer to be the star player. It's to be the best coach you can possibly be. Your success is now measured by your team's wins, not your own to-do list. Your new mantra should be outcomes, not methods. Start by defining what success looks like with absolute clarity. What's the end goal here? What are the hard deadlines and the non-negotiables? Define the what and the why, and this is the hard part. Give your team the freedom to figure out the how. Set up regular, scheduled check-ins to offer support and see how things are going, but fight that urge to hover. When you see that someone can handle a task, let them handle it. I know it is a scary leap of faith, but it's the only way to build a team that feels empowered and not babysat. No one wants to be babysat. The second mistake that trips up nearly every manager is being fuzzy with expectations. This is the silent killer of productivity. It sounds like this. All right, team, let's get that new report done sometime next week. Make it good. In your head, you know exactly what good is and what sometime next week means, but your team, they're left trying to read your mind, which is a perfect recipe for frustration and wasted time. This happens because of something called the curse of knowledge. Once you know something, it's almost impossible to remember what it is like not to know it. You assume everyone shares the same context and priorities that are crystal clear to you. This leads to missed deadlines and sloppy work, not because your team is slacking, but because you never gave them a clear target to hit. When people don't know what winning looks like, it's impossible to win. The fix is to become obsessed with clarity. You literally cannot over-communicate what's expected. Your main job is to paint a vivid picture of the finish line. First, get your own thoughts straight before you even say a word. Write it down. Then use a simple framework like the SMART goals. The SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So instead of let's boost customer satisfaction, it becomes we will increase our customer satisfaction score by 10% this quarter by getting our average ticket response time under 24 hours. Second, get the message out through multi-channels. Say it in the meeting, summarize it in an email, and post it in your project tool. And always explain the why. When your team sees how their pieces of the puzzle fit into the bigger picture, their motivation goes through the roof. Finally, make it a two-way street. After you lay out the goals, ask, what questions do you have? Or, does this make sense to everyone? To make sure you are all on the same page. All right, we're 2 mistakes in, and I bet you're already spotting a few things you can tweak. If this is hitting home and you want to keep building out your leadership skills, do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button. I drop new videos every week with practical, real-world advice just like this to help you kill it in your role. Becoming a great manager is a marathon. It is not a sprint, and I am here to help you every step of the way. Now, let's dive into mistake number 3, which can be one of the toughest to get right. Mistake number 3 is ducking the tough conversations. You've got a team member who is consistently underperforming, or maybe someone whose bad attitude is like a poison cloud in the team meetings. You know you need to deal with it, but you don't. You put it off hoping it will magically resolve itself because let's face it, confrontation is uncomfortable no matter who you are. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, especially if you're now managing people who used to be your peers and your friends. But here's the brutal truth. When you dodge these conversations, the problems don't vanish, they get worse. By letting poor performance slide, you're sending a loud and clear message to your top performers. Their extra effort doesn't matter. Resentment starts to bubble up, morale craters, and your credibility as a leader takes a nosedive. In trying to avoid one person's discomfort, you've made the environment miserable for everyone else. The solution is to completely reframe what feedback means. It isn't about confrontation, it's about clarity and care. Your job is to help your people succeed, and that's impossible if they don't even know they're falling short. To make these conversations less scary and way more effective, use a simple framework like situation, behavior, impact. It strips out the emotion and sticks to the facts. Here's how it works. First, state the situation. In our team meeting this morning, this grails the conversation in a specific movement. Next, describe the observable. Behavior. When Sarah was presenting, you were looking down at your phone and typing. This is what you saw, not a story you made up. Finally, explain the impact. The impact was that it came across as dismissive of her work and it was distracting to the rest of the team. This approach makes it about the problem, not the person. It opens the door for a real conversation about what happens and what needs to change. Tackling these issues head on isn't just part of the job, it's what separates the managers from the leaders. The 4th mistake is a close cousin to micromanaging, but with a twist. It's the failure to delegate at all. This is the manager who still thinks they're an individual contributor. Their motto is, It's just faster if I do it myself. So they hang on to all of their old tasks, slowly drowning in work, while their capable team members are sitting on the sidelines, bored and underutilized. This is a classic trap. You tell yourself you're just being efficient, but what you're actually being is a bottleneck. You are single-handedly robbing your team of chances to grow, learn, and step up. Remember that mindset shift? Your job isn't to do the work, it's to get the work done for your team. If you are buried in tasks that someone on your team could and should be doing, you are failing at that most important part of your job: strategy, coaching, and development. The key is to start seeing delegation as a tool for empowerment, not just a way to clear your plate. First, take a hard look at your to-do list. Find the tasks that are repetitive or could be an amazing growth opportunity for someone on your team. Then think strategically. Don't just toss tasks to the most experienced person every time. Who on the team would benefit most from learning this? Who has been asking for more responsibility? When you do delegate, give them everything they need: the context, the goal, the resources, and then, this is the critical part, let go. And truly let go. Trust them to get it done, even if their way isn't your way. This is how you build confidence and competence in your team. And it's how you free yourself up to do the highest level work that only a manager can do. And the final mistake that will turn you into a nightmare boss is living in a one-way feedback bubble. You're so busy setting goals, giving feedback, and managing the work that you never stop to ask for feedback on yourself. You just assume that if there were a problem with your management style, you'd know it. That assumption is one of the biggest blind spots a leader can have. If you aren't actively asking for input, you have zero idea how your leadership is actually landing. Are your team meetings useful, or are they a waste of time? Is your communication style clear, or is it confusing? Does your team feel supported, or do they feel smothered? You can't answer these questions in a vacuum. By not asking, you're throwing away priceless opportunities to adjust your approach, build a rock-solid trust, and just get better at your job. The situation requires a dose of humility. Make it a habit to ask for feedback. You have to model the very vulnerability you want to see in your team. Create regular, safe channels for them to give their thoughts. And please, don't just ask, "Got any feedback for me?" That's way too broad and put people on the spot. Get specific in your one-on-ones. Try questions like, "What's one thing I could do to make our check-ins more valuable for you?" Or, thinking back on that last project, was there any point where I was unclear or could have supported you better? Or, what's getting in your way right now that I can help remove? When you get that feedback, your job is to do 3 things: listen, ask questions to understand, and say thank you. That's it. Don't get defensive. Don't argue. You are being given a gift. Proving you can take constructive feedback without crumbling is maybe the most powerful way there is to build psychological safety and trust with your team. So there you have it, the 5 big mistakes that can trip up a new manager. To recap, becoming the accidental micromanager, setting vague expectations, dodging difficult conversations, failing to delegate, and living in a feedback vacuum. The jump into management is one of the biggest challenges you'll face in your career. You're going to make mistakes. Everyone does. The goal isn't to be perfect. is to be self-aware and always be improving. By navigating around these 5 pitfalls, you're building a powerful foundation of trust, clarity, and empowerment. You're shifting from being a boss who just manages tasks to a leader who truly develops people. And that right there is the secret to success for you and your entire team. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and give it a like and subscribe for more content to help you become the leader you've always wanted to be. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What has been the single biggest challenge you've faced on your management journey? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.